Hi, folks. Mark Murphy with TravelTube.com. And as you probably know, or if you're listening for the first time, TravelTube.com is the travel expert channel. What that means is we bring on travel agents, also known as travel advisors, and we give them insight, share their insights with other travel advisors. And what we want to do is we want to aggregate that core knowledge in a single place because travel agents can't be everywhere. So we bring that together. And I also do interviews and commentary myself. So if you haven't signed up yet, sign up at traveltube.com. If you like to listen on a podcast, that's great. We're on the major podcast apps. I prefer Spotify and Apple Podcasts, which is the vast majority. And of course, do us a favor and follow us on your favorite social media apps because we're on all of them: Facebook, Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we're on TikTok, you name it. So with that said, I've got a luxury travel expert who's been at it for more than 2 decades. Her name is Linda Mitchell, and she's with, I'll let her tell you. There she is.
Hey, Mark, how are you? Thank you for having me on today.
Happy to have you. And just to be clear, your website is luxurydestinationtravel.com.
It is, yes.
So give us like just a 30-second rushed explanation of how you got into this crazy business and how you got running your own particular travel agency.
I started my career in travel in 1992. I actually went to travel school in Harvard University, in Harvard Square, actually. It was Thomas Cook Travel, and Thomas Cook was bought out by American Express. So then I became a part of the American Express family after I did my training. I worked in corporate for about 9 years, almost 10 years with American Express, on-site corporate travel offices. So I got a lot of experience on how to really become a luxury agent. I worked with a lot of VIPs. I was at Harvard University. I was at StrideRight Corporation. And then in 2001, my daughter and son-in-law decided to start planning their wedding in Bermuda. And back then, destination weddings weren't even heard of. Correct. So with our wedding that we were planning for our daughter and son-in-law, we wound up having 85 guests, which was huge back then. And I decided to start specializing in the destination wedding travel and in specialized travel experiences for people. Started my own business because I had all the credentials at that time to do so. And since 2001, my company, Luxury Destination Travel, has been helping travelers travel all over the world.
So what's one of your favorite countries to visit?
Oh, gosh. I'd be remiss to not say Italy, because Italy definitely is one of my favorites. Portugal is also another one for sure. But Italy is hot right now. It has been. It was hot last year due to the Jubileum, the 25-year celebration. And so there's just so much always happening, so many hidden gems to discover that those that have traveled to Italy in the past, these hidden gems are I love bringing them to my clients.
So give me a couple of destinations that you're hot on right now in Italy.
Well, first of all, always love to suggest Rome. Of course, it is such an important part of Italy to travel to. And there are so many different experiences there that the normal traveler really doesn't know about, like going to the Colosseum. It can be crazy to go to the Colosseum and see it, and you don't really see it. But if you do a private underground tour, then you're with a private guide and you're able to see where the gladiators were and where the animals were. And archaeologists have just recently rebuilt the elevator that took the gladiators and the animals up to the Colosseum floor. And so you get to see all of that. And in 2026, they actually are opening the Imperial Passage. So this is the area where all the emperors walked through. And so you can walk through that area. So it's very unique. It's very private. And it's really not something that the general public can just go online and book, right? This is when you really need a travel advisor, someone professional that knows who to go to book the best experiences.
What does something like that cost to do a private tour?
Private tours are a little bit more money than, and it depends. It depends on the length. It depends on how many people are involved. It also depends on the length of the where you're going. So it's all the variables all put in. But what I say to people is, it's better to do less and do private than do more and really fill your schedule and then be with other people. Because if you're going to do a group tour, you shouldn't do anything more than 6 to 8 people anyways, because otherwise you're really lost. You're not hearing what the person has to say and the experience itself.
Got it. Well, give me
yeah.
a starting point. Like, what would be the low end of a Coliseum tour, and how long does it typically take?
So it typically can take, if it's combined with others, it typically can take, it can take a couple of hours. It can be more intense, be 3 or 4 hours. I like to combine it with other tours during the day. And truthfully, it's all combined in. So the way that I work is I work with suppliers that will negotiate pricing based on the entire experience itinerary versus a la carte. Because that way you really are getting your very best value, because what you're doing is you're getting these suppliers that are saying, okay, they're going to do all these other things along with this one tour. So then they give a better price. And that's the best way to do it, rather than to a la carte your trip all the way along.
Who's your favorite supplier that you work with? Or you probably have a couple, but.
I do. I love Classic Vacations. Classic Vacations is great. The people there are so knowledgeable. I also have another one that I use called Boutique Traveler. They're actually located in Portugal. I love it because the owner, Patrick, goes out and he vets literally every vendor, every supplier, every hotel that they work with. So I know that they have personally gone out, done the site visits, talked to these people, and they are getting the tour guides and the drivers that are the people that are locals. They have great experience and they're very well trusted. So I know that I'm entrusting my clients always with people that someone else has vetted, and it's not just someone off the internet.
Got it. And for all the DIYers out there, because we do get consumers watching this, that's a great point to make, that who the top suppliers are. You find these niche suppliers. I've never heard of the boutique one, to be frank. That's a new one for me. Of course, I know Classic Vacations. The big their thing initially was selling Hawaii and doing a lot of FIT to Hawaii, higher end product. But I think that's what most consumers don't realize. They try to do the stuff on their own. They go and book, a personal guide. I could also go to the Vatican, stand outside, and I'll get accosted by 20 people that want to give me a personal tour of the Vatican. And
exactly.
There's a big difference, folks. There's a big, big difference.
When you're getting into a vehicle in a foreign country with a driver, with a tour guide, you're maybe going to be with them 4, 5, 6. I have some tours for people that I've done that have been 10 and 12 hours. You want to make sure that that person has been vetted, that that person is properly insured, that that person is going to be an amazing, amazing person to spend the time with and have the knowledge. I'll tell you, sadly, after the pandemic, a lot of things changed. And people came in and decided to do tours when they weren't really licensed to do so. And so it is very, very important if you're going to a foreign country, to use someone who is trusted to book your experiences, your hotels with, rather than relying on what you see on the internet. Especially with AI now, they can build anything, right? And make it look like anything.
Oh yeah, and it looks great. And day 1, day 2, I had a kid who's probably 30 now. He's the son of one of my buddies from high school. And he was talking about AI and travel, and oh my God, I just planned my whole honeymoon. And I was like, dude, hit the brakes. Just hit the brakes, because getting a nice itinerary put together is not the experience. That's the easy part. The hard part is choosing the right products, making sure you're showing up at the right time, making sure that everything's buttoned up. And then even more importantly, in your case, that consumer, would they have access to the owner of, let's say, boutique or somebody at boutique if things go awry while they're there? Plus, they also have access to you to fix things if things go awry.
100%. I'll give you an example. This past September, I had 8 different trips going for clients. And over that period of time, and they were all to, they were Italy, Portugal, Spain, and France. And over that period of time, I had a WhatsApp chat open for each one of them with my associates at Boutique Traveler. And whenever there was a question, very rarely was there a problem, I will tell you that much. But whenever there was a question, or maybe the driver was 5 minutes late because he was in traffic or what have you, they could jump right onto that app. And if it was during the day when I was here, I was answering them and then checking with Boutique Travel, or they were jumping in. So there's 24/7 for clients, so that they always have someone that is just a text away.
Got it. And what was the app?
So important. So I just on WhatsApp.
Oh, on
So
WhatsApp. I'm sorry.
Just on WhatsApp. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. We
So
just
they
go
can-
right onto WhatsApp. They have their phone number. I put us all into a group chat. And then whatever questions come up. One of my clients was there during the train strike in Rome. And so we were right with them right along the way until they were able to get to their train.
Got it. So, you know, and for folks who are going to travel to Europe, let's say in the months ahead, beware of strikes, because there's always strikes. There's airline strikes. There's, you know, the ground crew will strike. All the municipal employees in Paris will, you know, go on strike. And sometimes the subway system stops, and on and on and on. And yeah, you need a resource there to help you out. So I think that's really important. And I love the fact that because of the time difference, you might be sleeping. And if you're sleeping in the middle of the night, there's somebody there that's going to
There's
answer.
someone there. 100%, 100%. And that's so important. And my clients know that. I am always so focused on making sure that my clients have information before they travel, even before they book. Now, when I first get a client and I'm sending them out information, I make sure that they're aware that their passports should be valid for 6 or more months past their date of travel. I make sure that they're aware of the ETISs that are coming up, although they pushed it till the 4th quarter of 2026. Still important. Most importantly is to let clients know that now when they go to Europe, they're going to have facial recognition and fingerprints. That's going to be when you go anywhere in Europe. That's what they're going to be doing when they check you in, rather than just stamping your passport. That's important for people to know. There are people that just don't want that to happen. And so they are able to make that decision before they even book their trip.
You know, I laugh because you get all the nut jobs talking about Trump's a dictator. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And I'm just like, do you know what's going on in Europe, folks? Do you know they'll lock you up for speech over there if you're so just as a side note, and then we'll get on to some of these new properties or existing properties that you shared with me earlier. Do people have concerns about some of these speech laws in these various countries?
I haven't really heard anything from my clients, and I really haven't gotten a lot of concerns about anything that's going on, either requirement-wise, like I said, what I send out to them. Politically, I haven't gotten any concerns with clients in terms of, you know, Americans and versus others and going to different countries. I mean, my clients, when I work with them, I think they know that I'm always going to make sure that I have their back, and that I am recommending places for them to be that they're going to be hopefully safe. And And so, no, I haven't really heard too much in terms of that. I mean, I like to also give a lot of advisement in terms of if you're renting a car in Europe or when you're going through immigrations, to just be as respectful as you can and just be respectful of the other country that you're visiting.
Absolutely. So
Mhm.
let's shift gears. You've had some good products that you were throwing around, and I
Mhm.
want to start with like maybe Belize. There's a
Okay.
city in
Be-
Belize that you told me about that
Well,
most
just
talking.
before we jump away from Italy, I want to just mention two other destinations that
Oh,
tend
go
to
for it.
be overlooked. Puglia, which is on the east coast of Italy, is such a beautiful area. The airport there is Bari, airport code BRI. They're easy, really, to travel to. And Puglia is it's such a gem. It's on the East Coast. It's very dramatic with the cliffs and the seacoast. And it's a very short drive to Albarello Bello, which is a real fantasy village. It's you've probably seen it on TV. It's the round houses with the thatched huts. Definitely a place to go. My gosh, you could spend 4, 5, 6 days there and have lots of fun. And then Ischia is the other one. Ischia is an island that's out in the Bay of Naples, very overlooked because everybody thinks they need to go to Capri. Capri is beautiful. It's very busy, but Ischia is a real hidden gem. It's got hot springs. You can take a ferry from Sorrento or from Naples. It's just got a very, very unique culture for Italy, and it's much less crowded than Capri.
Oh, see,
So
that's interesting. A lot of people don't realize that, and they always think
yeah.
of, Rome, Venice,
Mhm.
Florence, and the Amalfi Coast. They're always picking the places that everybody else is going to. Would you recommend that for a first time traveler? Those two destinations?
Absolutely. I recommend them to combine with. So I had a client that in September that went and they were in Italy for about 3 weeks. And we combined, sort of the well-known, Venice and Milan and even all the way down to Sicily. But I made sure I put them through Puglia so that they could experience it and see because and they said and they're foodies, out of the entire time they were there, the restaurant that they were in Puglia, which is built into the cliffs, was the best meal that they had had. And they were so excited because they'd been to Italy several times before and had never even heard of going there. And so I absolutely try to, when I build my trips for my clients, I try to include some of the well-known destinations along with some hidden gems. It really gives them a real variety.
And this, folks, as you're watching, this is why travel agents make a huge difference, right? Because
Mhm.
I've been doing this for how many years? 3 decades now, almost. I'm not that old, but yeah, no, actually, oh my God, it's been more than 3 decades.
You started as a teenager, Mark.
Right, right, right. So, so what's interesting is people are like, oh, I could do all this myself. Well, I've been to
Mhm.
Italy numerous times, and I've never done any of those things you're talking about.
We'll
And
have to get you there.
I know because the world is, I mean, there's a lot to explore. One thing I learned about
Mhm.
2020 was I did road trips all over the United States for about 10 months, and I still have so much I didn't even touch. And we put
Yeah.
13,000 miles on during that trip. And,
Wow.
and yeah, it was great. But again, there's so much to see in the US. There's so much to see in Italy. And
Mhm.
so many people go and it's almost like the tour bus when it rolls up, everybody gets out with their camera, takes a picture, and 20 minutes later, they're getting the call to get back on the bus.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I saw the Eiffel Tower. No, you took a picture of it. No, really. No, you didn't.
Exactly, exactly. Or people that go on cruises and say, "Oh, I saw that island," and it was like, yeah, for 2 hours,
Yeah, the
But
tour. Give me a
you get
break.
a little taste of it. But Puglia is also a great destination for destination weddings, which I also specialize in. The tourism board there and the all of the um, wedding different vendors, the planners and what have you, have really put a lot of focus. There was just an event in New York a couple of weeks ago where they came and brought all the vendors over with them. So again, that's a really fun place that if, wedding couples want somewhere where no one's been and no one's done it, that's a good one. Puglia is beautiful for that as well.
Because you can always do an all-inclusive in Mexico or in the Caribbean, but a lot of people have already been there. And then what people will tend to do is they'll go for the wedding, but then they'll build a vacation around the wedding.
Exactly. And it just yeah.
Well, if you're the person putting it together, then now you've got an opportunity. If it's 30 guests, now you have a potential 30 new clients, right?
Exactly. And each one of those guests that you're talking to, you can make that suggestion and say, hey, you're already over there. You've already spent the money on your flights. Why don't you add a couple of days before, a couple of days after, and see the area around where you're going to be. And it does become absolutely a real joy because then you're not just spending the money to go to the wedding, but you're also seeing part of the country that the wedding couple has decided to have their wedding at. Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. And I love the marketing aspect of how it generates the equivalent of a referral lead, because you're the one taking care of the accommodations and everything. They're going through you. And now all of a sudden they're getting, in many cases, this has been my experience, if it's, they're bringing their friends, family, et cetera, maybe the older people have used travel agents, but a lot of the younger people never thought of it. And in fact, most young people, the first time they think about using a travel agent is when they're planning either a destination wedding or their honeymoon, right? Because
exactly, yes.
You're saying, man, I can't screw this up. I need a pro. It's kind of ironic because for every trip, and when I say every trip, just to be clear, I don't think it's necessary to use a travel agent to book every single trip you've ever booked. As you know, there are multiple ways to book travel. The higher the risk, the higher the likelihood you want to use a pro. The higher the value of the trip, the more likely you can deliver many more benefits that are, not available to the public as a whole. But honestly, it's like, other than just flying back and forth, let's say to LaGuardia from Fort Lauderdale, you're going to use a travel agent if you're smart. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and it depends on how much I think also you want to do yourself or you want to entrust to someone else. Because look, in our life now, in the environment we live in, we literally trust almost everything we do to someone else. We have our groceries delivered by someone. We use Instacart. We have someone clean our house. We have someone walk our dogs. So how much more do you want to do? I have plenty of clients that have me book trips for them in the United States. They want to know the best restaurants. They want to know the best experiences to have. They want to make sure that, Uber is the right way to go from the airport, or is it easier to have a car service booked? They want to know those good hotels and a hotel that was good 6 months to a year ago may have changed management, may have gone downhill in some way, and that update is not going to be on the internet. So in my opinion, using a travel agent is always a great thing. And truthfully, with destination weddings, from the flip side of it, for tourism boards, for hotels, the travel agent, you are now you're the diplomat for that particular destination, right? Because not only are you recommending possibly that be the destination, but you are not only bringing the bride and groom, but as you said, you're bringing all the guests. So you're opening the eyes to all of these people to a destination that they might not have seen. So you then become, the advertisement for that destination. And that's a big deal for a responsibility for a travel agent as well.
And, it's interesting you bring that up because that brings back to the leverage that people like you bring. You're not one person thinking of going to Italy next year. You're talking to people about Italy on a weekly basis. And then you're the one that's been there and experienced it. And you're the one coming back and sharing those experiences. I'm curious, how many times have you visited Italy? And when was the last time you were in Italy?
So I've visited 3 times. The last time I was there was in May of, what are we now, 2024. And
Got it.
that was a very important trip because that was a multi-generation trip. It was everything from my husband, who's soon to be 80, to a granddaughter that was just a year old,
Wow.
and everything in between. So there was so many considerations when planning that trip, right? To make sure that we had the right accommodations, where we were located. Just there's a lot that goes into it. And again, this is a responsibility of a travel agent, but it also is what makes us so valuable. I'll tell you a quick story. I have an itinerary I'm working on now. My client said one of the requests, I sent out a whole questionnaire. One of the requests she made was that she's a very light sleeper in terms of her hotels. And so, that she have a room that's in a quiet area. I'm working with Boutique Traveler. They sent me back an email this morning. The hotel that they were recommending in Milan said the only rooms that they had that would accommodate them for what they wanted were facing the courtyard. And the courtyard tends to be can be noisy at night, a lot of people there. They specifically said we should not put them in this hotel or put them in a room that faces actually out to the street. Those are important factors. When she gets there, that's an appreciation that is going to go a long, long way, that was taken into consideration, and that I have a supplier that also will take that into consideration.
Yeah, and that's the difference between, again, doing it yourself and showing up. And
Mhm.
and just as a tip, if folks think like I'm getting the best rate at this hotel, the best rate at that hotel, there's a thing called best rate guarantee. So 97% of the hotels you're going to stay at, especially if they're branded hotels, you're not going to save any money doing it yourself. But if you book it through a third party OTA like Expedia, you're also not getting the best room in the house,
Nope.
because I've personally had that experience. I had a hotel booking platform, and if we use that platform to book some of our corporate travel, it was pulling in an API from various sources. And if you book that hotel, they don't care. They're just like, they're going to throw you in the worst room in the house because they don't know you from Adam. You're just another number coming in. And that's
Mhm.
what the front desk even said, because I was asking them about it. I was saying, hey, how do you rank the different types of guests that you get? And at the bottom were the OTA guests.
Yeah.
Unless they're booking the penthouse, if they're just booking a standard room, Russian roulette, as they say.
Well, they also keep those. What people don't know is when you book on there, typically what they'll do is they'll keep those, and it doesn't get sent right over to the hotel. So now you have last minute availability where they're going to slot you in. And I will tell you, Mark, I was on a site visit at a hotel at an island in the Caribbean. And I remember specifically that there was a renovated section of this very, very gorgeous, very expensive hotel, and one that was not as nice. And I said, well, what guarantee do I have that when I have my clients, they're going to get one of the nicer renovated rooms? And they said, the rooms that are not renovated, they're in the not nicest section of the hotel. We keep those for the online booking, for the
Bingo.
Expedias,
Yep.
and it's true. It's so, so true. And especially if you've established a relationship, I try to, not only do I, when I'm booking through a supplier, I also establish a relationship with the hotel. I established a relationship with a hotel in Naples when we were there. And that's also a hotel that I ask my supplier to book. So once they've booked it and before my clients are ready to go, I'm contacting them and they recognize me as the travel agent. So that association, those relationships are absolute key.
Yeah, because they understand you're the seller, you're the person bringing them new people, and again, one customer booking it on their own, they're probably one and done. They're not going back. And
Mhm.
so if things don't work out, you might get a bad review, right? But other than that, but with you, if they don't take care of your customer, you're not sending more customers there. And they know
Exactly.
that, and they know that you're like a feeding opportunity to keep feeding them new clients who will write great reviews, have great experiences. And if they know they're coming, they're going to look out for that customer. And I don't know if you've ever like sent pictures of your customers so you can recognize them when they come in, all of that stuff. Because I'll tell you, the luxury hotels, it's almost like they're mind readers. They're like, Mr. Murphy, welcome back.
Yes.
You're like, what the heck
Yes.
happened?
And I've had clients where there's actually a picture in the room, like in hotels in Dubai. They will actually have a picture of the client in the room, and it's kind of freaky because you walk
Yeah,
in, you're like, what, But that's service, and it doesn't always have to be that it's these very high, expensive hotels.
yep.
Good level service is across the board, whether you're pretty much at a 3-star or you're at a 5+ star. Good service is good service and should be there. If I have a client who's just booking a couple of nights, or I have a client that's booking 3 weeks, they're all going to get great service from me. It doesn't matter that one is this much and one is this much. It's the matter of the fact that, if you value yourself as in the industry that you're in, then you value every single one of your clients the same way.
All right. That's beautiful. Since we're on hotels, let's
Yes,
shift
sir.
gears and let's talk about this Belize property and what your take on this property is, because you had some pretty good thoughts about it. It looks amazing.
The Naya Resort is absolutely beautiful. So the Naya Resort is actually in a little different area than where a lot of the higher luxury hotels are. But it's very unique in the fact that it's got an all Belizean staff there. As you can see, there's lots of area to go around and explore. They have, 200 acres on that property, with nature and trails and just beautiful floral areas. They actually have been recognized by the World Wildlife Fund for the conservations of their mangroves. They've been recognized twice. I love this hotel. It's great for honeymoons. I've done honeymoons there. I've done gal pal trips there, because they have everything from regular rooms. They have rooms that have pools in them. And then they also have multiple bedroom villas that you can stay in that actually have kitchen facilities. You're only a golf cart ride away from the village, which is very unique, very authentic. And so I like this property. You can snorkel the longest barrier reef in the hemisphere. It's just very unique. It's very authentic. It's very get away into nature. And the service level there is just impeccable. It's a beautiful, beautiful hidden gem in Belize.
That's great. That's awesome. And let's switch to the Cayman Islands. So
Yes.
it looks like you've got a few things going on down there that I wasn't even aware of. So let's see. Vita Cayman.
Yeah, the Cayman Islands is a very dear place in my heart. We spent a lot of family vacations down there. One of the properties that is brand new is the Vita. Vita is located out on the way far on the west end of the island, which is up past 7 Mile Beach. It's a very quiet hotel. It's got, I think, maybe 8-10 suites. You can have anything from a 1-bedroom junior suite to a 3-bedroom penthouse suite. It's on Barker's Park. So Barker's Beach is a very hidden beach. There's hardly anyone there. They'll give you take your chairs and your umbrellas down for you. It's an area where they do a lot of the windsurfing out there. They do the horseback riding out there. As you can see, the beach is very natural. It's set back a little bit from the beach, but the walk to the beach is this really cute path. It's got an amazing little restaurant in it. This chef, Chef Maureen Cuban. She also has some other things that that she does on the island, but she's part of the restaurant there, Nourish, which she started. I was there a couple of months ago, and the fun thing is they do cooking classes nowhere else on the island, and they do cooking classes there, and every class lasts about 3 hours. You cook and you eat, and you cook and you eat, and it's always a different culture that they focus on. So it's very cool. There was French when I was there, and then I can't remember what the other one is, but they'll go through all the different cultures, and so that's so much fun. They have every single day, all during the day, they have yoga, or they have a big open deck area, and they, have exercise classes or yoga. You can have someone come in and do private classes and private massages. It is the place to go if you want to be away from the hustle and bustle of 7 Mile Beach. You want someplace really, really quiet, get away with a couple of girlfriends. Definitely not for that couple that wants a lot to do. There are restaurants in the area, most definitely. If you want to go, Nourish is open breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but there's also Papagallo is within walking distance. It's in a great area of Grand Cayman that most people don't even see.
And Grand Cayman's a very safe area too.
Very safe island. You can rent a car. It's very easy to drive. Where this one's located, it's great because the Cayman Turtle Farm is out in that direction. The Swim with the Dolphins is out in that direction. So there's lots to do out there as well. It's very easy to get around. You can drive the whole island. So it's really, really cool. My absolute favorite on Grand Cayman is the Caribbean Club. It's located right on 7 Mile Beach. It is very centrally located on the beach. So you have a very deep, deep stretch of the beach. Because it is so wide, and they have, it's not a huge hotel like the Ritz or the Westin. You can see there that, they have suites and they have villas. The buildings that are right in the front, those two buildings that sort of jut out in the front, the first floor levels walk 3 steps down onto the beach.
Nice.
I love this hotel because the infinity pool drops right out onto the beach. So it's never, are we going to the pool or are we going to the beach? You're going to both. One of the best restaurants on the island is located there. It's called Luca. You can see it. It's right behind the pool there. They have the best Sunday brunch. And these are all 3 and 4 bedroom villas. Now, a couple would say, oh, well, that lets me out. But it really doesn't, because depending on the time of the year, they also will price it out as a 1 bedroom and lock off the other 2 bedrooms.
Oh, really?
You have a kitchen. You can have groceries delivered by Foster's, and they're there when you arrive. You can have your liquor delivered. So you've got that kitchen, so you're not doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner out all the time. Luca will deliver your dinner right to your suite if you want to have it on the balcony, and the sunsets are glorious there. Absolutely glorious. It is one of my favorites. It's where I've stayed many, many times with my family, my daughter, son-in-law, son, daughter-in-law, grandkids, husband. And it's great because you've got the 3, 4 bedrooms. It's comfortable. It's very easy. No fighting for lounge chairs. The first day you're there, they set up your chairs, and every day after that, you come down and your same spot is right there waiting for you.
And what kind, for both of these properties, what kind of price points are we talking about? Obviously, it'll vary by the time of year, et cetera.
It does vary by the time of year, most definitely. The Caribbean Club can vary maybe somewhere around $1,500 to, I can never remember my prices. I didn't know you were going to ask me pricing.
Okay, but so like a starting price.
Let me just say it. Yeah, let me say it this way. If you look at the price at some of the higher hotels on the island, like the Westin and like the Ritz, not to rule them out, but when you're looking at doing, say, 3 rooms at one of those hotels versus doing a 3-bedroom villa here that has the kitchen, that has the washer and dryer, which is so important. I mean, people, when they travel now, they just want to take a carry-on and be able to wash the clothes. Then you're pretty much in the same price range, to be able to do the three.
I'm
Yes.
Irish, so I got a lot of relatives. And when I owned my
Mhm.
company and didn't sell it years ago, I would take everybody. I'd get a 10-room block at a 5-star hotel in Mexico, and then do the Riviera Maya region or whatnot. And they would come down. It was all inclusive, so they were happy and they could just have a good
Mhm.
time. This would be a
Yeah.
great thing to do, because you're talking about, even if it was 2,500 or $3,000 spread it
Yes.
4 couples. Not so bad.
100%. And that is pretty much how it does price out. And the nice thing about it is, I can go onto the website, I can pull the different villas, pull the different prices for my clients, and then you can actually see exactly what they all look like, okay, between the bedrooms and the bathrooms and the locations. And I'm very familiar with the hotels, so I know which locations are even the best ones to be at, right? Or
Yeah.
why am I going to pay that much more to stay at the beachfront one? Well, if you want to walk, you want to get up in the morning, open the door, walk down onto the beach and have your cup of coffee, you're there, right?
Right.
So it is for family get-togethers, for groups traveling, 2, 3, 6 couples that want to travel together. You've got the convenience of a place that you can all gather together, right? You can go into the kitchen and have wine and cheese and everything else before you go. You can have a private chef come in and make dinner for you. You can order dinner from the restaurant on property, and it's not room service. They're actually bringing you your dinner on the plates with the covers and the whole thing, and setting it up for you on your table. So you can sit and watch the sunset and then go up and get ready and go to dinner. You can walk to dinner. So many great restaurants within walking distance.
Yeah, right there on 7 Mile Beach. Yeah.
Grand Cayman's a great island. It's a wonderful island. Very easy, very accessible. They just started, they have their own airline, Cayman Airways. Cayman Airways just started nonstop service from Austin, Texas.
Nice.
And so what makes it good is then there's those connections as well from people that might want to come from the Midwest or the West Coast. From the East Coast, nonstop flights literally up and down the corridor. So it really makes a nice destination. Yeah. And they have a new airport, so it's very easy to get in and out of.
Well, and from us folks down here in South Florida, we can pretty much go anywhere we want in Central South America, Caribbean, nonstop. So
Yeah.
another plug for Florida. Thank you.
Yeah, it's literally an hour from Miami on, and I love to fly the airlines that carries the flag of the country that you're traveling to, and Cayman Airways is just, boy oh boy, it's like going on Hawaiian Airlines, right? You get on and you feel like you're there already. They're serving you the rum swizzle. They have the Cayman music going. And all Caymanian flight attendants as well. So it's a
Nice.
fun experience from the time you step on the plane until you land and then return.
All right. So for our last property, this is an island that I've never visited, except I think I may have hit it on a cruise ship like 20 years ago. I don't even remember. I'd have to go look. But Curacao.
Curacao. So Curacao is a great destination. It's an island that gets overlooked. It's in the southern Caribbean. It's just north of Aruba. And the nice thing about it is it's outside of the hurricane belt. So you never have to worry about when you're going to go there, right? Boas is a beautiful property. It's very Balinese inspired. So you get that very cultural feeling to it. It's very romantic. You can have romantic dinners in a gazebo, under the stars, on the beach. They very much cater to that romantic experience. So perfect for any type of honeymoons or romance trips whatsoever. I like to just say that it's barefoot elegance at its very best.
Look,
It's just,
look at this little lagoon here. What
yes.
is that?
Yeah, so private, great for swimming because, you're not running into some place that's got a lot of, big heavy waves. It's an underwater paradise for snorkeling. As you can see, their rooms open right up, and they are very Balinese inspired, as I said. The beautiful flowers, the florals that are there. And it's not that far from Willemstad, which is the capital of Curacao. A very Curacao has Willemstad has a very European elegance about it. Very cultural. They do have guides that will take you out. They have a catamaran at the property, so they do boat tours every night. Literally, you don't have to want for anything. I had a honeymoon couple that went and they stayed there for 3 weeks, and they were not bored
3 weeks.
one single week. Yeah,
Wow.
3 weeks, and they were not bored in the least. I mean, you rent a golf cart when you get there, and you can drive down the road, typical island road, and then you come into Poncia, where it's a village, a very typical native village, but wonderful local restaurants and shopping and what have you. So going to Naya is an entire experience of Belize itself, which is really, really cool.
We're on Curacao now, though.
Curacao, Boaz. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I did jump off of that. I did jump back to Naya, didn't I? But yes,
so,
I did. Yeah.
All right, so let's clarify. So you can rent a golf cart here at this property, or are you talking about Naya?
I was talking about Naya, but they will take you by golf cart. They will take you into Willemstad. I would have to check and see whether or not you can actually rent them yourself, but I do know that they have people that will take you into Willemstad to shop and to go to the restaurants there. Again, it's a very European, elegant style village or city, actually. So, really, really pretty. So. Pictures say more than 1,000 words. There you go.
Absolutely. And what would be the price point on this product be?
This one's a very higher price point than some of the other properties. So this is definitely for your luxury client. Although when you're if you look at shoulder season or lower season, then you are going to get a lower price point on it. And again, I'm always reluctant, even when clients ask me for prices. I'm always reluctant to give prices unless I actually am looking them up in front of me, because I'm that person. I just don't like to just generalize.
Right. Because if you tell them a number and it's based on that time of year, and then they want to book at the peak season and it's twice as much, they're like, "What are you talking about? You told me $2,000."
Exactly. And when my clients, that's a good point, because I will always ask my clients in terms of budget, and I usually preface it by saying, you don't know what the pricing is, obviously. So how do you give me a budget? But kind of give me where you're comfortable, and then we'll work from there. And a lot of times, what I'll do when I'm building an itinerary is I'll say to my clients, I'm going to build you an itinerary. It is going to be chock full of experiences, and then you pick and choose based on the price that it is. We whittle it down. If you're not comfortable with the price, we start whittling down and taking out maybe that winery tour that's not as important to you, or doing a group cooking class versus a private cooking class. So it's always a work in progress, and it should be with every single client that you work with, that you are working with them to make sure that it's like building a house, little by little you're building it and putting in all the little fun stuff.
Absolutely. Well, this has been wonderful. You had great insights.
Thank you.
And now, I mean, I have a house in 2 different destinations in the U.S. that people pay a lot of money to come visit: Fort Lauderdale and up at the Jersey Shore for the summer. Mm-hmm. And I laugh because I'm always here, and I need to get back on the road and get out and check out some of these products, because you got me thinking about going to Grand Cayman.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when you do. I mean, I've lived in New England my whole life, just north of Boston,
Yeah.
and that's a great destination because New England is such a playground, right? And moved to, as I told you, moved to Jupiter, Florida, a couple of years ago, and this is like being on vacation,
Yeah.
but it's like, look at, you travel, what is the quote, you travel the world, it's like a page in every book, right? So even though we live in beautiful destinations, there's so many more pages to explore and to read, and why not get out and do it? Life's too short not to. And to introduce your children to that type of travel. I introduced my grandchildren, my husband and I, at a very young age in terms of traveling, and it's really broadens their experiences and broadens their way of looking at life.
Well, that's a great way to put it. I've always loved to travel, and I look forward to checking out some of these products you talked about firsthand. So thank you again, Linda. Linda
Thank
Mitchell,
you.
luxurydestinationtravel.com. You're doing it right, and boy, you're a wealth of knowledge. So I really appreciate you coming on traveltube.com today.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. I appreciate you very, very much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Talk soon. Bye now.
Bye. Bye-bye.
All right, Linda Mitchell. Boy, doesn't that want you to go to some of these places? I know, man, that they just sound amazing. They look amazing. And Curacao, I think I just saw you from a cruise ship. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but it was probably 20 or 25 years ago. So a lot has obviously changed, and the luxury travel market is booming. And so the other thing that Linda mentioned is kind of interesting. She's like, she doesn't care if you're a 3-star client or a 5-star client or a 6-star plus. She's going to give you that same level of service. So appreciate her coming on. Appreciate you signing up and following us on your favorite podcast apps, and also following us on social media. Till next time, I'm Mark Murphy, traveltube.com, the travel expert channel. And you see just one reason why, one agent, Linda Mitchell. Thanks.